It's currently December 20th. What time is it anyway? 9:22 in the evening, Friday night. Um, I think I want to go back and demonstrate some more of what it is I can do kinetically. It's still a mystery, to be honest with you, of everything that I can do with this energy. It's Jay's energy, and I'm just still integrating it within my own body. But it's reaching out more and more these days. I see it mostly at night. I see, the white and the gray and the translucent um, distortions in the air where the lights don't show up. There's no steady stream typically that I see of this energy. It fluctuates between translucent and these two colors. And it depends on the background to be able to see it as well. If I'm in a darkened room, like when I'm going to sleep, yeah, I can see it. It's gone all over the place. And I'm feeling this energy more drifting down into my arms. So, you people who are feeling your balls with your hands, try moving the, that that direction of your feeling hand down your arm and keep moving closer to your body to see what effect that would have. You're going to feel, and I've talked I think about this before in another video, you're going to start feeling your arm as if the hairs are raising. That's a good sign. That means you're moving forward with your metaphysicality. But then at some point, like I've talked about in the 5 training videos, which I almost regret posting because they're too long and they're too, I don't know, rinky dink. I need to be a little bit more professional, but that's okay. I don't need to put myself down for something that basically is new and nobody else is talking about this stuff as far as I can see. You're going to find this stuff drifting through your body, and your body's going to acclimate to the new feelings associated with this energy. Now, I also have to say, and I've thought about this a lot, I I'm leaning more towards the idea that people who've had crank ups, the DNA ICU seat crank up, and being solar plexus are maybe the only people that can have this ability. I I'm stuck on that idea. Definitely, you've got to have a crank up. And if you're a muggle and you've never had a crank up by Jay or any of the remaining consultants out there, wherever they are, the only one that I know of is Stephanie Sedgwick. She's out of Australia or New Zealand. I've contacted her, and I'm waiting for a response. I don't think I'm going to have another crank up from her added to the base crank ups that I've had from Jay, uh, uh, Deanna, maybe even Siobhan. I definitely had. Aya surprised me. She sent me an email saying that she cranked me up, and this whole thing about getting crank ups and feeling it in the head. Yeah, it's real, folks. To hear that somebody like Jay Essex can throw or the consultants can throw their energy across space and time and contact your brain. I mean, that's some wild quantum stuff, man. And you will feel it as you're going through the crank up. Now, I've noticed that 60 people have looked at my video of the crank up I went through. It's kind of embarrassing, you know. I was more bright-eyed, bushy-tailed back when I was 65 and had that crank up. Now I'm a little bit more tame, you know. But it's true. Jay has you feel the energy that emits off your head once you've had that crank up, or as you're doing. You will feel pulsations or pinpricks of him going through the various parts of the brain and just removing, I guess, the original source being restrictions or essence or something that they put in our head to stop us from feeling our original selves. So that's stuff you got to learn by listening to Jay's videos. In any case, this energy that Jay gave me, it swarms all over my body. It started with the left hand side. Quick synopsis of what I've been saying here in those 5 training videos. When I started to feel this energy, whatever it was at the time, um, it traveled from my hands down my arms, jumped to my head, and then to the left side of my body, or down to my chest, and then it jumped to my feet and came up this way and went over my head, down my back, and up around. And I'm really ambivalent about having to talk about the idea that if I had known the challenges involved with changing my DNA, which Jay essentially does with a crank up, I I probably wouldn't have had the crank up. The problem that I have is as a senior and as a person who's gone through living hell in my life, that the feeling base of all that together, plus the fact I had peripheral neuropathy that developed along the way. What was it, 2 years into the crank up? Jay's energy essentially intensified everything emotionally and physiologically too that I was going through, and it's overwhelming. And the fact that I'm retired and I'm not working, that was a great blessing because most of the time I was very tired. And Jay talks about that, in his videos. Subsequent to having a crank up, you will feel immediate changes. And I was just taking naps all the time. And, how can you do that if if you're a worker bee? So I also feel that um, if I had see, none of this is Jay's fault. He doesn't know how a person's body will adapt to the energy. He has an idea because he can read the future and all that kind of stuff. He has an idea what may happen, but I'm thinking not exactly, because if he could have seen what what I went through as I was evolving, oh, fug. It was tough. But maybe the upside of this is the thought that if you're a younger person, I think you mentally and physiologically and psychologically, you can you can weather the storm in this stuff, and not to be afraid to have a crank up. And if the spiritual foundation were to make it known that it is possible to remove metaphysicality, remove the energy that one receives from a consultant or Jay, just so one can rehab and take stock of what the heck is going on in the body, that would be a good thing. I'm going to make a video, an open message public video for Deanna, who heads the Spiritual Foundation now, and suggests that there should be a way out. And if needed, and in my case, I really um, would have liked to have been able to leave my metaphysicality and repair the peripheral neuropathy that was taking over my body. I couldn't make the distinction between feeling the pain of that, which is intense vibration, compared to the intense vibration that comes when one receives a crank up, at least from Jay. I don't know about consultants. Probably that happens as well. But as these two energies collided, the PN and peripheral neuropathy and the crank up, I couldn't separate the both of them. And if I had no metaphysicality when this peripheral neuropathy was taking over my body, I would like to have cured that, then come back and get another crank up, I think. And that would have helped me a lot. So this is a topic I've got to very carefully um, express to Deanna in an open message as vital, I think, for the future. There's only one other person. Oh, and again, I know I'm repeating this information from um, previous video, but one other person went through this thing, and her name was Alona Beard, Beard. She's from one of the three Scandinavian countries. She finally found somebody who could remove her metaphysicality, and she went on, and she's leading a great life now. But some people, I think, just can't adapt smoothly, is the word, to these crank ups, and it's a hit or miss. And the same thing goes with the stone energy. Oh, I've got 10 spheres, and I've talked about this before. I've had to remove them, put them in the garage, because it's just Deanna and Jay's energy, which they inject into these stones, is so strong. You just have no idea. You have no idea how it can take over your head. All 10 of them at once in this room. Oh, I don't know if you'd even make it. It's just too much. You've even tried partialing them out, one sphere at a time, and still, it's a tough thing. Anyway, I'm drifting here. What's going on with me these days as an update to my moving forward metaphysically is I've stepped away from the remote viewing somewhat because this idea of being able to cultivate this energy, it evolves little by little, and I can feel, excuse me, the difference on a day by day basis on how much it's taking over my body, and it's craziness. How do you describe to the public what's going on inside one's body metaphysically when it's just almost intangible? What I see and feel is is this energy just swarming around in all these different shapes, and it's got to lead to something. I don't want to take this and shine it, direct it towards people, because in another video I mentioned I put my friend Ed Cushman in the freaking hospital, you know, hovering over his head for half an hour, and he went bananas. Doctors didn't know what was going on. It's just too much energy. And you know, as an ability, where's it going to lead to? I have no idea. I have no idea, but it's getting stronger and stronger, and it just takes time, I guess, to evolve in a bigger way. And I've already stated that I'm a late bloomer with this stuff. I went through the crank up, and I was on the sidelines for 6 years. I'm 7.5 years now into this crank up, but 6 years, and things were just moving slowly through my body. So that's the way I am. I have to mention that guy Barry, I think his name, from the Alaskan Trio, I talked about him before. He got his crank up about the same time I did, and he was just all over the place. And you can see his videos on YouTube. But he's a younger guy, and that's why I say that maybe the experiences I'm going through have been tough because I'm older. I'm a 70 freaking 2, man. God. And Ed, by the way, is 84. He's been cranked up. He doesn't have any metaphysical abilities. He didn't practice them. He's been a couch potato. So, so as an update, all I need to say, I think at this point, is that this thing has taken over my body, and what can I do? It intensifies everything I do. I know it heals. heals myself, the rotator cuff stuff. Have I gotten into that? Have I made a video on everything that it's done to heal myself? No, I haven't, have I? I've got a, I've got a, I've got an outline for that. I just haven't uploaded. I gotta do. In fact, let me write that down before I forget. I'm forgetting everything these days, folks. I'm gonna take off now after I write this down, uh, and mention to you who have been cranked up. It's time that you offer videos on YouTube. The biggest mistake or oversight that I've seen conducted at the Spiritual Foundation with Jay and Deanna is that they didn't counsel people to record their experiences. As far as I can recall in any of their videos, to record their experiences like I'm trying to do here. The reason I'm saying this is because the public out there is going to be in an extreme quandary after Jay cranks up the world. You know, he's got a crossover. You know, if we believe that he can crank up the world, well, yeah. Where are people going to go for the information to understand what they're going through? In one sense, people. I'm looking at how long I've been going here in this video. My screen's all messed up. 16 minutes. I gotta end this real quick. In one sense, people can feel their way through their evolution of their own metaphysicality. They'll have shamans and their own culture and tradition, and that'll help them. But that takes time in itself to have videos to refer to, if they even have access to videos like Jay's videos. It takes time to understand all that stuff. It's very complex, very nuanced in detail. And it's going to be tough, I think, for people just with what little is remaining as videos explaining the metaphysical DNA ICUC that the people before them have gone through. So we're all connected. We all are going to depend on each other, helping each other. Why can't some of you who are, again, who've been cranked up, offer some videos? Something simple. And, you know, explaining where you're at, what difficulties you've had, or easy glide you've had going through your metaphysicality. And there's no reason to be feeling ashamed or shy about it. I mean, look at my videos. I I'm learning from my narrative mistakes as I go along, and at some point I'll be as good as Frank Zoo in the way he produces his videos. So I have tons of more information I can say. I just have to learn to pare things down and be more concise, more direct, and not get distracted and saying things that I've already talked about in previous videos. I'm going to head on now, and I've got that note down that I need to produce a video on the physical changes that have happened inside of me, and to leave you with a thought. Having a DNA ICUC from Jay saved my life. I need to talk about that in great detail, and I will. I have to give him full credit for this, and it's the truth. So that's coming up in this next video. Anyway, I'm going to take off. You guys have a good night. It's a winter night here up in the mountains here. I'm assuming the Fae are tucked in bed. So always be good.